Okay, perfect. It looks like people are still trickling in, but maybe we could just get started. I guess I could probably start by giving you a little introduction about myself. So to anybody who I haven't met yet, my name is Morgan Marler. I work in the Education Abroad office, and my role is primarily as kind of like a support for the faculty who lead programs. If you don't know, we have about 35 programs every year from different faculty from all across campus that lead programs. And so my main role is to help them recruit them, train them, support them throughout the entire process, and support their students. And then my colleague, who will be joining us in a little bit once she gets out of her class that she's teaching, her name is Amy Huff, and she is the advisor in our office, and her role is to work with students who are doing long term. And by long term, we mean a full semester abroad. So, Armani, do you think we're good to get started?
Yeah, we can get started.
Okay, cool. So, myself and my colleague Amy, who's going to come a little bit later, and who you might know, Elena, from Bears Lead this last summer, we worked together to create the Bears in Mexico program for Bears Lead students. And I think we're probably changing the name to Bears Lead in Mexico because we want it to be very clear that this is for Bears Lead students. And the idea was to build something that was not only affordable, but also provided a level of support for students who maybe have never been abroad before, or who would like to travel with a group of friends or with trusted adults, anything like that. So we created this program and we decided to work with a university in Mexico to build it so that it was more affordable. And in this presentation, we're going to go over what this program is going to look like, what the price of it is, because we're going to be upfront with you from the beginning about the price and the scholarships that are available to you, what Merida is like, what the university is like, what the housing will be like while you're there, the courses that you can take, the activities you're going to be able to participate in, the funding and scholarships available to you, and then what that process for the timeline is going to be like, what that application is going to be like, where you will be applying for scholarships, when we will start the pre-departure preparations and all of that. And then the last part of it is going to be open for questions. Um, yeah, we'll just get through it and then we'll get to questions. But if you have something that's like really important that you need to ask, feel free to put it in the chat while I'm presenting and we can try to catch some of those. So the eligibility for who can join us on this program, we're going to have about 12 to 15 current Bears Lead students or Bears Lead alumni. We're going to stick with undergraduates unless something changes. We might be able to figure something out. But for the most part, this is who this program has been built for, and that's who we're going to be recruiting. The program is going to take place from May 18th to the 30th of 2026. And we're going to be in Merida, Mexico, which is down in the Yucatan Peninsula, right at the tip. You will take part of 2 weeks of class on Yucatan heritage, and you'll be able to bring back credit that will hopefully apply for your degree. And that usually is going to come back as IDS 297, which fits into the general education requirements at Missouri State. The cost of the program in total is $3,720, and we wanted to be clear that this covers everything except some meals, not all meals, but most of the meals we cover, passport costs, and pocket money. So everything else will be covered for you. There won't be any surprise expenses other than those three things. You'll have the support of 3 staff members throughout the entire program for those full 2 weeks. And flights are going to be purchased for you, and you'll travel with the group. So this is great for first-time travelers, or maybe it's just, it's always a little lonely to be in an airport alone. So having a group of friends with you will make it a lot more fun. Now, I could give a great overview of this program and the university that you're going to be visiting and all of those things, but I think this video does it way more justice. So I'm just going to play it and we'll move along after that.
I think I I had a very surface level understanding of what.
Oh, sorry. Oh no. How did this happen? Sorry, guys. 1 second. I'm not used to PowerPoint. There we go. Are you everybody able to hear it? If not, please let me know.
Somebody said they can't hear it from their end. I feel like I heard it at first and then it went out.
You might want to play it just off of YouTube directly because it's not playing sound.
But 1 second. You said play it directly where?
From YouTube, I think, might get you a better shot at sound.
Okay, let me try that.
You'll have to exit out of the PowerPoint and click on that link.
Let's see if this will work.
Not sure what's going on. I can't hear it personally. I don't know if anybody else can hear it.
Hmm. If this won't play as is, I might just leave it and send it as a video or send it as a link later. Does that sound okay to everybody? I'm sorry about that. I figured it would work. Armani, do you think that's the best move?
Yeah, we can send it as a link as well. And I'm taking
Okay.
attendance for everybody as well.
Oh,
So
cool.
if y'all need anything else.
Okay, perfect. Oops. Let's see. Oh, well, we'll move on. So, the Yucatan Peninsula, where we're going to be in Mérida, it's in the southeastern area of Mexico, right down here in this little peninsula. It does have a level 1 safety rating, and that's one of the reasons that we chose to go with this location. We wanted to make sure that students who weren't used to traveling internationally could feel completely safe and that their parents would feel safe sending them as well. So we chose this location for a lot of good reasons, but that it was one of them. It also has a strong Mayan heritage, and there's a lot of really interesting archaeological sites in the area that made it a draw for a lot of students. And Mérida itself is a modern Spanish colonial city. It's a large city. We're going to be on the outside of the city, but it has a lot of culture. The culinary scene is amazing there. And we knew that there would be plenty for our students to do and see while they were there. Anáhuac Mayab is the university that we're going to be at. And they do one of their biggest selling points, I think, on marketing brochures is their slide, which is in their student union. And I can say that Elena and Amy both went down the slide this last summer when we went on a site visit. They do have a Starbucks on campus. They have a great food court. And every meal that they serve there, most of the meals are only about $5, the equivalent in pesos. And so it's a very affordable place to be, but your lunches will also be included in the program price. So whenever you're on campus, you will have a voucher for your lunch every day that you're there. For housing, Anáhuac Mayab has found this hotel called Bees Suites. It's about 15 minutes from campus, but there's a shuttle that runs every morning from the hotel up to the campus. And you'll be sharing a room with one other person, and it's a very modern hotel with lots of common spaces. I think there's a pool, and I also believe that there's like a gaming room of some kind. There's also a restaurant on camp or on the site of the hotel, so you don't have to leave and go pretty far away to find something to eat. So that's kind of nice if you're feeling a little tired or overwhelmed. It's always nice to have everything you need in that little space. But you can still, of course, adventure out into the city and see some other areas as well. We did get to meet several students from this year's program that went on a similar program from another university, and they said that they loved this housing situation because they're able to stay all together. It's a lot of fun for them, and there's plenty of common spaces, so they felt like they didn't have to stay in their rooms. The course that you're going to be a part of is taught by a Mexican professor who will cover things like Yucatan identity, the food culture in this area of Mexico, Mayan culture overall, such as their mythology, music in the area, colonial society, and what that can look like. We have them all listed out. I won't list everything, but I love the way that he approaches this course because it really gives you the perspective of a local. And he talks a lot about the ways that the Mayan society is not an ancient society, even though we think of it as an ancient society. It's very relevant and it's very modern, and there's a lot we can learn from their culture in our world today. And so even though you'll be learning about the history, you're also learning about the relevant immediate culture that's happening right now. As part of our itinerary and as part of the course, you're going to be doing a lot of activities. So for one day, you're going to go to an agave plantation, and another day, you're going to go to a cenote, which if you don't know what a cenote is, it's a cave system in this area of Mexico that they're actually all connected, but the water is underneath the ground, and you can swim in these massive underground caves with this large opening in the top that opens to the outside world. And so we got to visit too while we were down there. I was not fully prepared for how amazing this experience would be. The cenotes are by far my favorite thing that I saw while I was in Mexico, and I think that it will be everyone else's favorite too when they go on this program. We will visit a modern Mayan village, and we'll also see a World Heritage Site, which is really exciting, which is Chichen Itza. You might have heard about this one. It's about an hour away from Merida, and we made sure to include that in the itinerary so that you all would be able to see that. Okay, so we talked about the cost, and we know that that can seem a little scary. That sticker price can seem scary at first. But as I said, it includes your housing, your meal, most of your meals. It includes your flights. It includes your course itself. You actually don't have to pay for tuition afterwards. And it includes all of those things in one neat price. And then the only things that are not going to be included are the passport fees, a couple of meals on the program, and then that extra spending money, which I don't know if I explained this, but the spending money is pretty much money that you might want to have on hand in order to get an Uber to go downtown and get dinner, or maybe you want to get souvenirs for your family and friends. So none of that is a requirement. The only things that are required for that program are in the total program fee. For funding and scholarships, we have vouchers at Missouri State. So if you have the Board of Governors, the Provost, the Deans, or the Engaged Citizen Scholarship, you automatically get a $1,000 voucher for studying abroad. You don't actually even have to apply for it. All you have to do is apply for your program, and we track which students should get that award or get that voucher every year. We also have many foundation scholarships. So whenever you're filling out your 2026, 2027 foundation scholarship, you can apply or say that you're going to study abroad in the next year. And that will automatically include you in that, in the, I think 14 or 15 foundation scholarships that are specific for education abroad students. We also have a scholarship. This is kind of a new one, but an alumni from Missouri State who studied abroad. Her name is Joy Donnelly, and we've done an interview with her on our social media if you're interested to go back and see that. She has created a scholarship fund and is very active in the education abroad scene nowadays. So I checked with her, and she is willing and able to take any applications from students who are wanting to go on the Bears in Mexico program, and she will consider their application. I think her awards are maybe up to about $500 or maybe a little more. Another outside scholarship is the Gilman Scholarship. Some of you might have heard of this before. We have, this is for, I'm sorry, Pell Grant students, Pell Grant eligible students are able to apply for the Gilman Scholarship, and it is up to, I believe, $5,000. And so that's a great opportunity, and it is available to students who are doing short-term programs. There's kind of some people have the misconception that it's only for long-term students. That's not the case. The CAST office on campus does have a first-generation scholarship that if you are a first generation, you should definitely apply for if you're going to study abroad. And then we manage a college scholarship fund for every college on campus, except for COB, who manages their own. And so we have a large amount of scholarships that are coming out of that scholarship fund as well. And then finally, there is the Fund for Education Abroad. This is one we haven't had as much experience with, but it's another type of scholarship application where you fill out one large application and it sends your application out to several different funds to see if you can get scholarships from one of those. And hello, Amy, welcome. Amy is here, our advisor that I talked about earlier in the presentation. Amy, would you like to talk about the application process?
Sure, yes. I'm sorry that I'm late. I'm happy to be here. So right now for the fall semester of 2025, it's our recruitment season. So this program included, this is a big time that students are generally looking toward their spring and summer study abroad programs. So this is the time that students get on our application portal and they search for programs. And then in conjunction with their program application, it's the time to start filling out your scholarship applications as well. Me and Morgan and Armani are considered the program directors for this program. So any of us can be your point of contact if you have any questions about anything, or if you're considering applying, but you're not quite sure, we would be super happy to talk with you about that. We wanted to kind of break it down in terms of what you could expect for fall and what you could expect for spring, because a lot of students think like, oh, if this program isn't going until May, then I don't need to do anything until March, but that's not the case. The application deadline will be March 1st, 2026. But up until then, it's a good idea to start, especially get started on your scholarship applications. And if it's not this program that you want to do, but you are interested in studying abroad, there are many other faculty-directed programs as well that go along with different majors and different academic disciplines. But yeah, so in spring of 2026, like I said, our application deadline is March 1st. And after our application deadline, we will have a number of pre-departure sessions, and that's to begin delivering a little bit of the course content, get to know each other a little bit, start off with a cultural orientation. We're going to do some basic kind of Spanish for travelers so that we can all have our Spanish chops to be able to communicate a little bit. All of our hosts, they speak English, but it's always nice whenever you go to another country where English is not the first language to at least have some very basic vocabulary so that you can practice and communicate in good spirit. And part of this program as well, we want to deliver travel basics. So our hope with this is that by the time we leave for Mexico, we will all have some level of familiarity with the process of getting a passport and engaging with buying a plane ticket and thinking about what to pack and other preparations as well. Oh, I just got the last slide.
Well, the floor is open for questions. We wanted to leave plenty of time because we knew that there were a lot of questions people were already asking about the program. And in case we didn't answer any of those, we want to know what's on your mind, what you're thinking. You don't have to unmute yourself. You can just put it in the chat if you don't want to unmute yourself.
Also,
Looks like we have
I also have just one random thing to say. This Zoom only goes for 40 minutes, so if it like knocks everybody out, just join the same one and we'll just start over.
Okay.
And I just put in the chat the web page for the CAST, the Center for Academic Success and Transition, their first generation education abroad scholarship that Morgan mentioned. There's the link to their page, and then if you click in there, you can pull up the actual application form. So that's due, as you can see, well before the program application. So I recommend if you use a planner or a digital calendar, it's important to go ahead and mark all of these scholarship deadlines and the program deadlines on your calendar because they're not all the same, and we wouldn't want you to miss out on a funding opportunity because you thought that all the deadlines were March 1st, because they're not. Another important thing to know about the Gilman as well is if you're a US citizen and you're Pell eligible, you are eligible to apply for the Gilman. If you don't know that you're Pell eligible, just ask one of us and we can help you figure that out really easily. So don't hesitate to ask us. For the Gilman, you can actually apply 2 times. So they have 2 cycles in 1 year. And so one of the application deadlines is in October. So if you're going on a May program, like let's assume you're coming with us to Mexico, you would be able to apply for the October deadline and the March deadline. So basically they give you 2 chances to submit for the scholarship. So that means if you applied in October, but you didn't get it, you have a chance to go through and revise your essays, and hope that you can get it in March. And it's not a waste of time to apply twice because I've had students who did not get awarded the first time, but they did get awarded the second time. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you need any assistance on the Gilman, I'm your girl. I have a Gilman packet that we developed actually with Bears Lead that can help you get through the essays. There are 3 required essays, and they're kind of hefty. So I have a packet that can kind of help prompt you through those essays and make sure you're responding to what they want you to respond to. So don't hesitate to reach out. We have a question in the chat. Could this study abroad trip count towards a specialty history course for credit or only the gen ed course? That's a really good question.
It is a really good question. I can try to answer that. So potentially, yes. We cannot speak for every department. So we would need to work with you one-on-one. But if you, let's see, it's a history course, it's very likely that they would, but we would need to work with the department to submit a pre-approval request, and we would be there to support you in doing that. We could help you with that. And so if that is the case, then when this course transfers back from Anáhuac Maya, then we will make sure that it is transferred as that course if it's approved.
Great question.
Any other major questions on your mind, even about our experience in Mexico this summer or what that was like?
We're financial aid. We have Vicki White here
Financial
from
aid.
financial aid. She can answer a question if she needs to. repeat the dates, prices, and credit options.
Yes, absolutely, I can. I'm going to try to find, here we go. Maybe
There
this
you
will
go.
work. Every time I was trying to use the forward button on my keypad, it was just taking me all the way back. All right, let's see. Oops. So program costs are here, 3,720. The dates are May 18th through the 30th of 2026. And the course credit that should already be approved is IDS 297, which would fit into the cultural competence category of the general education requirements. However, like we were talking with the other student that answered or asked us a question, if there's another course within your major that it would fit with, we could submit a transfer credit pre-approval request pretty much on your behalf. I think that's something we're willing to do. Is there any other slide that anybody would like for me to return to?
I do have just, I guess, a general question, just in case nobody thinks of anything. If you could please kind of tell them about how they would apply if they are interested.
That's a great question. And actually, since I'm sharing my screen, I can show where it will be. So if you go to our homepage on the Missouri State website, it looks like this. And you can go to search for a program. And I'm going to use this button up here because it's been working correctly. But up here under program search, there's MSU faculty directed. I know we're not technically faculty, but that's the kind of program that this is going to be considered. And then scroll down, you'll see we have 22 active programs. The Bears in Mexico program is not active yet. It's on our queue to be posted, but we had about 25 come in just about at the same time. So it's been a little bit difficult to work through those. But you'll see it here when it's posted. And actually, we have everyone's name, I think, from here. So we can send a follow-up email with all of the additional information about scholarships and deadlines and things like that. And then we can also follow up when the program is posted. So we'll make sure to do that. And as I said at the beginning, this program was built to be as supportive as possible for students. So if there's anything that you need from us, any questions that you have, our doors are open. We would love to have you stop by and visit us in the office, even if it's to talk about other education abroad opportunities. I guess I could probably finish this out. So if you go to one of these brochures, it will actually have an apply now button as well. Sorry, I forgot that part.
Yeah, and so something we really wanted to have our program published for this meeting today, but like Morgan said, we just had a lot coming through. But something that's important to know is inside our application, we have something that's called a cost sheet, and it's a very robust budgeting tool that you will use. That's actually required for you to complete the application. And the purpose of the cost sheet is so that you have a very clear idea of everything that we're expecting you to budget and everything that you would be billed through Missouri State so that there are no surprises. So that's something that we can help out with as well. And then if folks receive financial aid, then they will meet with a financial aid rep who's here on this call, and we'll give you very clear instructions on when you can do that and how and everything like that. And she can go over your aid package with you so that you understand what kind of funding you're expecting for the spring term. And yeah, again, just make sure that you are fully in the know of all of that. It doesn't look like we have more questions coming through, so
I guess I have a question. Is there anybody, at least from this information, somewhat interested or considering going just by the raise of hands through Zoom, I guess? Like the Zoom hand raise option. Anybody that's like sold right now, or are y'all kind of like maybes? Okay, I see a few coming in. I would definitely say some things if you are considering now, some, I guess, easier type of things to start getting out the way is definitely your passport if you don't already have that, and definitely that first round of Gilman. I know we're like already a week into September and the October deadline is approaching, so I would at least start working on that and working on scholarships very quickly, especially if you are pretty certain or have a pretty high chance of going.
Yeah, and to support in that, the list that we have on this slide